Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Jordan here, back with a new review for you. Today we're going to be looking at a 60 key keyboard in the name of the Happy Hacking Professional Hybrid. Now right off the bat I will say that I'm not a regular programmer or coder. I have done previously, be it a few years ago now, so please bear in mind that with my conclusion, if you're one of those people, your mileage may vary to mine. So Happy Hacking is a division of Fujitsu who have been making keyboards for over 2 decades by this point. They're known for their minimal design and Topra switches. 60% keyboards are the most common size, and they don't do the typical thing of releasing a new generation every year. Theirs are widely spaced apart with minimal changes, and Happy Hacking have only released 3 generations in the last 10 years and only 5 generations in the 10 years before that. You won't find any backlighting, RGB or gimmicks on these, just pure essential control and design. Although the design is a little bit weird, more on that later. So the key things to know about this keyboard is a 60 key design, small footprint at only 30 by 12 centimeters, a 3-month battery life, Topra switches, which are widely regarded as some of the best on the market, and rear dip switches for personalized layout customization. Now for reference, the model I have here is the hybrid charcoal, which features Usb-C and Bluetooth, but you can also get a baseline model that is wired with Usb-C, and then the top end, which is the Type S, that has Bluetooth, Usb-C with silent switches. All of those models come in the option of white or charcoal and with printed or unprinted keycaps. So let's get into the box where we'll find the keyboard, obviously, a plethora of quick start guides in different languages and 2 AA batteries. That's it. So onto the keyboard, and the first thing you may notice is the unusual layout of the keys. In order to keep this a 60% keyboard, Happy Hacking have had to play swapsies with some of the keys, even removing some and implementing modifiers via the out key to make the same effect happen as a dedicated key. More on that later. The functions you typically find on a full size or even a TKL keyboard are routed into the keys along the whole length of the keyboard, and the function keys are incorporated into the number keys, but can be changed so you default to the function keys by the dip switches on the rear of the board. Speaking of those switches, let's take a look, and we've got 6 on this board with options to change from the Happy Hacking mode, light extended mode, Mac mode, key assignment and wake up functions, delete key, Windows or Command key in alt assignments, and then options to wake up the host PC. A lot of these I found myself to switch on later when I went to do something but couldn't, then found I could easily switch something on the back to then make that action work. Other things on the back of the keyboard, we've got height adjustments, of which there are 2 stages, which is nice. The back side of the keyboard we'll find the power and Bluetooth connectivity buttons, and then to the right where we'll insert the included batteries. You can use this wired without batteries if you'd rather, but you have to get your own cable as they don't include one. So before I mentioned they played swapsies with some of the keys, let's talk about that. So where you traditionally find the control key, you simply won't on this. It's been rerouted where caps would be above shift, and if you want to use caps locks you need to do alt and then tab. Personally, I don't really see the attraction of removing and swapping around these keys when you need an additional step for something that would only have to be pressed once. Now if you're coding you won't be using caps locks very much, so I do kind of see why they've removed it in one regard, but I feel removing that key just to be able to call it a 60% keyboard just seems a little bit odd, especially when there's space for it. Or maybe that's just me. For the arrow keys, I use the dip switches to enable the out on the right hand side as well, as it made things a touch easier, but still not as easy as a full size or even a TKL keyboard. The other alternative layout decisions are claimed by Happy Hacking to keep wrist strain and fatigue to a minimum, especially for developers who have their hands on the keyboard for 99% of their working day. But in general, this keyboard is a very steep, if not vertical learning curve if you've not used the 60% before. And if you're considering jumping from a full-size keyboard to one of these, I'd strongly recommend that you can find a friend or someone that owns one to see if you get on with it first, as it's a really radical change and something that can take a lot of getting used to. Now let's move on to some positives. The Topra switches are one of the most popular out there because of their smooth action and such precision. Each switch detects any electrostatic charge to ensure extreme precision with each keystroke. This makes it a fine choice for programmers and coders, as a misinterpreted keystroke can often stop a whole program from compiling. Now let's take a quick listen to how they sound. Now I do love how well I can type with these switches. Any mistake that comes up was just purely by my own fault rather than the actual keystrokes. And for someone that does a lot of email, this is a pleasure to type on with the obvious layout quibbles aside. On top of the switches are textured premium PBT keycaps, which are imperceptible to grease, which is something I often find quite a common occurrence with my fingers, so the prevention of these caps was something I was very happy to see. Overall construction is very solid with little keyboard flex, not that you're going to be bending it very often. Now I mentioned this had Bluetooth and Usb-C, and if you choose to use this wireless then you can connect up to 4 different devices to it and easily swap between them using a simple keyboard command. This is very similar in design to some of the other keyboards that I've seen from Logitech, being this one supports one more device. Personally for me, I'm a desktop and a laptop guy, so the majority of the time I use this keyboard, it was connected to my desktop via USB-C. If you're planning to use this for gaming, you can do it. The latency is nice and low, but being the keys are tightly arranged is maybe a little bit limiting. Personally, I'll plug this in by USB-C for gaming, then you know you won't have any connection issues whatsoever. So there are a few more quibbles. Before those, I want to tell you the price, and it's a big one for that matter. The basic model, which is wired with USB-C, is £219. The model with Bluetooth and USB-C is £259, which is the one we have here. And then the Type S with the silent Topra switches coming in at a whopping £299. Now for that price, if you buy the hybrid or the Type S, which has wireless and USB-C, you don't even get a USB cable with it. Now if you choose to buy one of those wireless models, then you're likely going to be using it wireless anyway. But when you're paying upwards of £250, they could at least throw in a USB cable, as that would only cost them a few quid. My other quibble is the use of AA batteries. In 2020 I'd expect to see a rechargeable battery via the USB port, and the last time I used batteries in the keyboard was 2016, and I thought even then the move to rechargeable should have been done. So in this day and age the use of batteries are a definite thumbs down. So all in all, I have very mixed feelings about this board. The compact design will certainly appeal to some. I like the minimal, no RGB design, and the switches are a real pleasure to use. Unfortunately, it's let down by a tough to learn layout, and although it has modern implementation of USB-C, it's still stuck in the past by using batteries. Overall, a rather confusing board with a high price tag. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with my points? Is there something in today's coding world that would make use of this layout? I'm certainly up for discussion with this one, so let me know if there is, or if you have any additional questions. I will put an Amazon link in the video description if you want to get one of these keyboards or to check them out in a bit more detail. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss a video. Thank you to Happy Hacking for sending this out for me to review. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.